Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and in this video you're going to find out if this is the Delux M800 Pro or the Delux M800 No. But yeah, this is going to be a review of the M800 Pro, the updated version of the Delux M800, which used to have a 3335 sensor and kailh 4.0s coming in at only $40, and now the new M800 Pro has kailh 8.0 switches and a 3370 sensor, the same exact specs as the glorious Model O Pro, mind you, and comes in at $60. But yeah, Delux is a brand that I don't really think strives for perfection in terms of quality, and there are definitely some issues on this mouse. But to keep it short and sweet, if you are at all familiar with the design of the M800, this is practically identical. It just has lighter feeling clicks. The kailh 8.0s do feel pretty good, honestly, no quality issues with those, and a slightly better sensor. The LOD is now adjustable in the software, whereas before they had a 3335, but they just tuned the LOD extremely low and you couldn't change it. So yes, it is going to be a better performing mouse, but at $20 more, I feel like it starts to be harder to justify it against the Viper Ultimate, which is only $70 on sales now. And putting performance aside, where the Viper Ultimate is obviously going to be better than the M800 Pro, it's just kind of a shame to see that they only changed the sensor really and just throw on the Pro name. It's the exact same design as before, exact same quality issues. In fact, the sidebinds are actually worse this time around. Look how deep into the shell they go. So if you play Fortnite or really any sidebind intensive game, these are pretty garbage. They're just like that dot micro switch, so they feel mushy. So yeah, you can really hear the disappointment in my voice when I talk about these sidebinds. Just super low quality shit. The original M800, I didn't like the sidebinds, but they were better than this. So maybe this unit's just a dud. I do have some creaking issues as well, even when I just put a normal amount of force like claw gripping. So all around, the quality on this unit is not amazing. It's really clear that they just put the same level of attention to detail on their $40 mice as they do on their $60 mice. And that's just not what you want to see. This does not feel like a massive improvement over the original M800. The only thing that I personally noticed was, like I said before, the LOD adjustment in the software, because when I put on these aftermarket skates on my old M800, sometimes the mouse would just stop tracking because the LOD was set too low. So the sensor, in my experience, has definitely been better. It's also set to 500 Hertz by default, so you want to change it to 1000. But yeah, with the shitty stock skates that you borderline need to replace, the bad side buttons, and just the low quality like shell feeling in general, I'm just not a fan of this as much as I was the original M800, which was a true like solid budget mouse at $40. Neither of these mice have adjustable debounce times in the software, so the click latency is like noticeably higher, especially than like super premium mice like the V2 Pro and the GPX Superlight. It's even noticeable compared to the Viper Ultimate. So Delux, if you are seeing this, add a debounce slider to the software, because I can tell by default it's just set to something high, and I would presume it's just because the kailhs, they don't want to have people like returning the mice due to double clicks. But definitely allow the option, in my opinion. And I'm not going to say that alone ruins the mouse, but a lot of factors come together to make this not feel like a truly like pro level mouse. So if you're seeing it at $60 and expecting the same levels of performance as you would get from like a Logitech or Razer flagship, it's just not going to happen. Delux is a company that definitely cuts corners. They're just not making a mouse for enthusiasts. They're making a budget grade product, and I mean, that's what this is. Still $60 for a wireless mouse like this. It's not an egregious price, but the Viper Ultimate at $70, like I said, it's just going to feel better in hand. It has better performance, and that's really all you gotta say. The shape, I've gone over it so many times before that I just honestly didn't want to talk about it. It's like that Viper Mini wireless-esque shape, but it is slightly larger, around as long as the Viper Ultimate is. So yeah, it's a good shape in my opinion for both claw grip and fingertip grip. I don't think I mentioned it, but the weight is 71 grams, the exact same as the old M800, so they didn't really make any improvements there, and I'm 100% sure that they could make some upgrades to the weight and just the weight balancing in general on their pro level mouse. But I suppose not. Also, just one thing on the box as I'm wrapping up this review, there's an ergonomic design with a comfortable grip, gun hand in one. Does anybody know what that means? I just saw it on the box and I was just mesmerized. But in all honesty, the M800 Pro is not a bad mouse at $60. It does, in my opinion, have poor quality, but the shape and weight and just the sensor implementation make it really good for tracking. I really did not have issues like aiming with the mouse, but while building and editing at the same time, it just does not feel as responsive, and the lower quality side buttons did not help compared to the premium mice that I'm used to. But I don't know, if you only have $60 to spend on a wireless mouse, I would recommend saving $10 to $20 more and then just opening yourself up to a lot of options that are just going to feel higher quality in general. But if you really want this shape and weight and don't mind the side buttons, then I could see the M800 Pro being a good value. But if you just want a dirt cheap wireless mouse that's going to get the job done, then you could look into the original M800, which is still only $40. So really you have a lot of options. If you like the M800 original a lot and just want the lighter clicks and improved sensor, then the M800 Pro could also be a good option. But I would say my recommendations for this are going to be niche, just given how good the under $80 wireless mouse scene is getting. I don't think recommending like a $60 budget product really makes the most sense. But yeah, that's all. Did not have a extremely good experience with this mouse. I totally forgot to mention battery life and like the charging situation. This mouse does not come with an adapter for the dongle, which is really annoying in my opinion, and the RGB does not seem to affect the battery life that much. This thing lasts for around 5 days on a charge. I kind of made this review presuming a lot of people were already familiar with the M800. If you aren't and just want a more detailed review of the features, definitely just watch my original M800 review. I'll like put the card up or whatever. But that's going to be all for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and that's going to be all. Peace.